All right, welcome. Fer, what's up? How are
Hello,
you?
how are you doing? I'm doing good.
Good. I mean, it's been years, literally, since
Yeah.
we last hop on a call with
Yeah.
you. Um,
It's like when was the last time we talked?
I think it was like March of 2021. I think it was
Mhm.
like
Wow.
about 2 years ago. Yeah, because
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's insane. We're coming up on our 100th episode, so like we're planning on. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's awesome. It's awesome. But we're planning on just like having all of like our old guests that were on when we first started, and we just like feel so appreciative of everyone that did it in those early days. And so we appreciate you coming on again.
Yeah, thank you.
It's great to have you and great to see you. So like, what's been going on? What have the past 2 years been like? I see like you've had a big shift into like the comedy world. I feel
Uh,
like you're doing comedy now.
yeah, I am doing comedy now. That's crazy, right? So in the past 2 years, that's a lot of time.
So
Uh,
much time.
Yeah.
So much time.
thing,
Yeah,
uh,
recap with one word.
I think when last time we spoke, I was probably moving to Germany, or just
Mhm.
moved to Germany.
Right. Yeah.
So it took like a year. Every time you move to a new country, it takes like 1 year to really get things going.
Right.
Uh, but ultimately, this year mostly, this year I was like, you know what? Let's just have fun and just go around and perform music, whatever I feel. So
Right.
last year I made some comedy. Like they invited me. They were like, "Hey, you're probably really good at being a comedian on a stage." And I tried, and it was fun, but it didn't really, spark anything in
Right.
me.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
this year it was like, I have been through heartbreak, so maybe I can laugh about that.
Hmm.
And it worked out. And suddenly, 2 weeks after performing, I had a European tour. So
Jeez.
and
That's
now
so cool.
I'm going in 2 days to London for my 18th show of the
Wow.
tour. And I
That's sick.
finished. I know, I know. I'm
That's
still
so
like,
That's
wait,
cool.
so
what?
cool.
And I'm still like, I have the last date of the tour is going to be in Iceland.
Wow. That'll be awesome.
Whoa.
Have you been there
Yeah.
Whoa.
before?
No, I have never been to Iceland,
Oh,
so I'm like still kind of like really shocked when I go to bed. I'm like, wait, I'm going to Iceland to finish my tour for this year,
yeah.
the half tour, kind of like. So it's pretty cool, like it's pretty fun. But then at the same time, I was doing marketing. I don't know if
Hmm.
you recall that. So I
Right.
keep my marketing agency and so on.
Yeah.
And now after the tour, my new book is coming out next week, if I'm not wrong. Uh,
Wow.
Whoa.
The new marketing book?
this book is actually a productivity book.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, it's like a
Tell us
life
about it.
experiences plus productivity, self development, and so on.
Okay.
Um, and after the whole tour and book and so on, then I get back into the studio and I go back into music.
Wow.
Nice.
You're hitting every single aspect of like creativity. It's like
That's
you're
I
doing
wild.
everything.
I love to do a lot of stuff, and I feel like,
Right.
hey, you have the talent, or you feel like you like it, and people like it, just go for it.
Right. I mean, so
Yeah.
with I guess sticking on comedy real quick, do you find that it's because you're traveling all across Europe? Do you find that it's difficult for like I guess language to does that come into play ever when you're like going to different countries to perform your sets?
Yeah and no. So, for example, I'm doing everything in English.
Okay.
And
Mhm.
then depending on the country, so like Germany, Netherlands, and they have like really good English.
Okay.
But recently, I was actually in a city here in Germany, but the English wasn't really good in there because most
Okay.
people are like more village kind of like.
All
So I
right.
remember when they were like, "Oh, Fer is here. We invited him. It's an international show. He's going to do everything in English." People's faces were like,
Oh wow.
and you can see, when you perform. Like I was in Amsterdam 2 weeks ago in a festival
Right.
performing,
Okay.
and you can see how everyone was following the story
Yeah.
compared to
Mhm.
Yeah.
this village where people were like, oh, oh, yeah, and then they would laugh like late, or maybe they were like,
right.
it was so awkward. I have to change the entire set, and kind of like talk
Right.
really easy, really
Right.
slow, like taking everything a lot of time and explaining jokes that it's just the worst
Right.
you can do. Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, I would have felt so like weird about that. I don't know, but it's they did laugh. They did laugh even if it was late.
They said they liked me and they clapped a lot at the end.
That's
Okay.
good.
Because they wanted me to leave already. They were like, the next German comedian, please.
Yeah.
But hey, no, actually, the reviews are good, and the language is not being a problem so far.
Okay.
Good.
That's great.
Have you been loving it?
Sorry?
Have you been loving it? Like, do you think it's something you definitely want to do again, like go on another tour?
I mean, definitely. So traveling on tour is exhausting.
Oh, I can't imagine.
I
Yeah.
miss my bed so bad.
Oh, I can't imagine.
But it is honestly like you just meet a lot of cool people every night, and then you're like
Mhm.
on a stage. There is a really small chance of failing, kind of like I would say. For example, when I was singing and dancing on tour, it was like a million things could go wrong.
Right.
Mm.
Right. Yeah.
But now you're just basically talking.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It just don't
Right,
lose
so-
your voice.
Yeah, like the only thing that happens once is that I started choking on my own saliva. That was the worst thing. And people were like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "It's fine. Just give me water." But
Yeah.
yeah, but I'm loving it. So it's just really cool.
That's fantastic because it's just, yeah, you're right. It's just you and a microphone, and that's all it is. There's, you're
Mhm.
not also dancing. There's not like lighting cues and all these things going on with the performance. Wow. So when you're like engaging with the audience, what are things that you've found to be universal that you've like made sure to keep in your set? Like, what jokes have you made staples in your set because they've worked in all the different areas you've been to?
Okay, that is an incredible question. So I always okay. How do I put this? When I write the whole show, right? The whole show is 1 hour. So
Okay.
when I select some cities, you do like 30 minutes. Some cities is the full show, depending on the place and the amount of people that there is.
Right.
So
Right.
I will select okay, what is going to resonate with the people, and
Mhm.
I will visit the city one day early. Like I will go one day before, and I
Okay.
will talk to the locals because I want to see
Wow.
exactly. I want to know what is really local, what is really common.
Mhm.
So I remember, for example, in Brussels, in Belgium, when I went one day before, and then I told everyone that I met, like literally, I go to McDonald's and ask people for stuff.
Yeah. Wow.
So I will tell them, like, hey, what is one thing that everyone knows about Brussels that they dislike or that everyone complains? And they were like, oh, the city is full of holes. It's always in construction, blah, blah, blah. So that is going to be my first joke.
Oh, that's so smart.
Wow. That's
so
brilliant.
smart.
Yeah.
Yeah. So literally, I entered the show and I'm like, I remember you write this like 10 minutes before the show because you still
Yeah.
like catch the people and the vibe.
Mhm.
But I remember I just went in and said like, "Oh my God, sorry I'm late. I came out of the station, fell in a hole, and then one beggar asked me for money, and then they speak in French. So I was like, the beggar was like, bonjour, and I was like, oh no, sorry, I only have cash, and then I fell in another hole, and then like the audience was already like laughing out loud,
That's
and you win.
incredible.
Yeah, you just won the whole people in there.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's
You
That's
come out
so
strong like
smart.
that.
I didn't even think about that at all. I just thought like, oh, you just hope that certain things are universal, but to actually immerse yourself into
Yeah.
the city or town that you're in and talk with people, that's so smart. You're going to win every crowd you go in front of.
Yeah, you do your research.
I mean, a little bit, yeah. Like usually, you kind of find the most common stuff online.
Yeah.
And usually we kind of like made this generalist impression of people, and we're like, oh, this country is like super cool. This country is like, and it doesn't really work.
Okay.
So you really need to go and talk to people, and it makes them
Mm.
really feel like you care about them. That at the
Yeah.
end of right,
It's connection as well. You're making connections with these people that, and maybe next time you are in town, they'll come to see you, or like it's
absolutely.
brilliant marketing as well, which you're a marketer. So it's very clear that you know what you're
Yeah,
doing.
I mean, I still have to do some stuff. I remember I went to a show by one girl from Australia. She's incredible as well.
Mhm.
And then she will spend 1 hour after the show talking to people.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I remember I was like the patience, like
Oh,
after
yeah.
one whole show of talking to people, and she was like, "You have to do this. This is really important. This is how people have a great memory of you." And I still
Mhm.
have that great memory of her because she took like she will just talk to everyone, and it's not like, "Oh, hi, 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 picture, picture." No, no, she will set people in a queue and talk to you for 5 minutes, and take a picture. And oh my God, what do you do? Let me follow you on Instagram.
Right. Right.
really humbling,
That's so
experience.
smart.
Yeah.
And how hard must that be? You just like put yourself out on the line and like
Yeah.
did if you do like
Like,
a
I mean,
do like you just worked your ass off, right? For however long, and then you gotta go be like normal again. Like you're not buzzing a little bit, like you're not like exhausted, you know?
Yeah.
Sounds tough.
yeah. I mean,
Wow.
she was super honest, super like, usually she like for me, for example, I was working for like as a choreographer for many artists in the past. So this big artist, I remember when I wanted anyone to meet them, my friends were like, "Hey, can I meet Iggy Azalea or something?" Um, I will talk to the artist,
Hmm.
and then you can see how the artist was like, "Ugh, I hate
Yeah.
you." So it was like, come on, do it for me. We worked together for a long time, blah blah. And then they meet your friends, and your friends are like freaking out, like, oh my god, I just met them. And the
Right.
artist like, okay, bye. And it's just, I don't know, it kind of like kills your whole, have a
Right.
fan.
Right.
You need to
Yeah.
love this fan. And if it's not a fan, it's still, I think when you are in like, I don't know, humble and like when you're like really open and you're just human, people will have this great memory of you for the rest of their lives.
Right. Yeah.
That's
No,
super
that's
smart.
that's well put.
I
I
love
think
that.
it's all about connection in every way. It's about connecting with the people that want to see your art, and if they're a fan, you want to make sure that they stay a fan. So, especially when you're not one of the biggest people in the world, you have to like
Yeah, you have
really
to collect
foster those
them
connections.
one by one,
Right.
collect.
Right.
Yeah.
So, how are you?
Great.
I guess prioritizing and like deciding when you're going to work on certain things, whether it's comedy, music,
Well,
dance.
you should read his book.
Well, I should. This is what I need. I need advice. I need the Fer Rivero way.
Yeah.
So honestly, the book came out as my guide to do it. I don't know
Okay.
if I mentioned. I honestly don't remember what I mentioned in the last podcast. Hopefully everything good.
Oh, it was
But
all
yeah.
good. All good stuff.
Amazing.
it was good, right? Okay, good. So this year I kind of like thought, okay, when I was 16, I was fifth of the world in gymnastics, and then when I was like
Mhm.
21, I was in multiple TV programs, and I was like top 50 dancer in Europe and so on. When I was like 24, I survived a whole mafia in China. Like I did
Yep.
so many stuff,
Right.
and everything. I mean, when I talk about it, it feels like, yeah, I just did that. But when people talk about it with me, they're like, dude, are you a human? And I'm like,
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
right. And then, but then every time I do like these incredible things, then I have like 2 years of going down completely.
Hmm.
And I was like, what is it that I am doing when I totally go into like the worst parts of, life, my personality, depression, whatever? What
Mhm.
is it that brings me out of the rut and puts me at the top again and I can achieve anything again? So
Right.
this is like the exploration of that, and it's called Quantum Behaviors.
Okay.
So it's about
I love
how
that.
I work on aligning every cell in my body towards one goal.
Okay.
And
Oh.
I usually these books, they tell you like productivity books, they tell you a lot of theory, but they don't tell you how to do it.
Right.
So you
Right.
read the
Yeah.
book and you're like, okay, so now what?
Yeah.
Right. Because they don't want to be wrong or something. They don't want to like
Right.
Yeah.
put you down the
So
wrong path or something.
exactly. So I was like, I'm going to give my method that worked for me and that you can see through my entire life that it has been like over and over and over working.
Hmm.
And yeah, people might be like, this dude is crazy. Or people may, I put a lot of science behind it though.
Right.
Good.
But people, I feel like it might be like a survival guide for someone in the future.
Okay.
Right.
Interesting. Yeah.
No, I love that because yeah, you're right. So many times like you leave the book and you're like, okay, yeah, I want to be better. Then you're like, wait, that's why I picked up the book already. Like I already feel that way. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, give me something to do. Let me try it out.
Yeah, like
I,
sometimes you feel worse almost when you read a like a self-help book or productivity book. You're like, wait a minute, why what are you telling me to do here? Like you're not
Yeah.
giving me any I guess direction. And so
exactly.
that's
So I love what you're doing with that. That's just
yeah.
that's smart
So
and
is the
helpful.
book out?
It's going to be out. Yeah, we're finishing the last. Well, this is because I'm being a perfectionist. So the book was finished like 3 weeks ago.
Okay.
But you know,
Always a but.
oh, light. We had the issue of do we make the book in British English or do we make it in American English? Because our
Okay, yeah.
behaviors it's already like the title is going to have already a O or not. So
Gotcha.
I was like, okay. So at the end, I decided to make it in British. Sorry, guys. Sorry,
fair.
you're going to have a lot of recognize with this and so on.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna be able to read it. I can't speak. I don't speak English. I
Right?
don't speak.
I mean, Americans are going to have a horrible time. They'll be like, two words with S. But I decided that, and then I finished the book. The goal of the book was doing it in 40 hours because I wanted to prove that the book could be done in a 9 to 5 week.
Okay.
So, I mean, of course, I used ChatGPT, and it was great because it gave me like the science quickly, like it researches for you and gives you
Mhm.
like the science.
That's
But it was a
brilliant.
Yeah.
lot. I mean, ChatGPT gives you this article and like this text that sounds like a robot, and then
Yeah.
change the entire thing. So it was
Right.
exhausting, but yeah, ultimately the book is going to be out. If not next week, is before my birthday on 8th of July, because that's the goal.
Okay.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. So yeah, it has to be out before my tour ends, and it's already uploaded everything on Amazon,
Yeah.
stuff like that. So
Yeah.
hopefully, yeah, in one
That's
week.
awesome.
Wow. That's awesome. I'm excited. I'm gonna get it.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm gonna get the book.
It'll be on Amazon. It'll be like ebook.
Yes, it will be an
Perfect.
ebook. It will be a physical book, and it's the first one of a collection of 4 books.
Whoa.
Wow.
My
The other
man.
3 books are almost finished as well. So I was like, okay, this will be the first one, and I can combine it this way. Yeah.
So why $4?
So I originally started writing the book about, I don't know if I told you last time, but at 21 I was sold to a gang in Asia.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a strong story. So that happened like almost 10 years now, and I was like, okay, it's going to be 10 years. I want to release that book, and a lot of people are like, hey, I want to read that book and so on. But it was a really strong topic.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
kind of like I don't want people to see me on the first impression that they have of me as the victim who, later turned into a superhero, kind of like, or something like that. So it was
Right.
like,
Right.
why not position myself first as a person who has a lot of experience on coaching, on discipline, training,
Mhm.
doing multiple stuff, and then I can release the other book. And this
Right.
came
Okay. Right. Yeah.
right, like it makes a bit more sense in
It
my head.
Of
definitely
course.
makes more
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah.
Right, so this book is the theory, kind of like it's like the heart, the science behind improving. Then the book of what happened with me in Asia will come out second
Okay.
next year. And then there is a book that is more with my time with the Buddhist monks, so it's more spiritual, kind of like, so it's
Okay.
like mind, soul, and heart, kind of like connected.
Okay.
And yeah, the last book is more about the heart, so it's also more about relationships, and I want the heart, mind, and soul, yeah, in each way connected, and every book will be like a combination. You will definitely get a lot of stories that it's like, oh wow.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome.
That's-
I'm excited. That's
that's
gonna be
wonderful.
so much like fun to read and just to immerse
Yeah.
myself into like all of your knowledge and things that you've been through. That's gonna be really cool. I'm very excited for that. Congrats on doing this project. That's incredible.
Yeah.
Thank you. I
Yeah.
mean, I don't know. I don't even know how that happened. Like,
Yeah.
one day I had already the covers, and I used to start writing. This year, I feel I'm learning like you have to be bold.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Saying
Yeah.
or doing.
Gotcha. We got to start doing that as well. A little
I
bit
mean,
more. I got to be a little bit more bold.
You're doing that. You have already 100 episodes of a podcast almost
That's
there.
true.
Is that a bit? Yeah.
We're
okay.
we're consistent. That's I guess
We're at
that's
least
that's our biggest
yeah.
I can't think of the word. It's the best thing about us. We're
It's
consistent.
it's the one quality we at least have.
Yes, it's our best quality.
Now we'll learn many more qualities from the book.
from the books. We'll learn more.
From the
We'll
books.
implement. We'll move forward.
This is one of them. But I want to actually ask you, because I started like a podcast like 7 times in my life, and I never arrived to the 3rd episode of them.
Gotcha.
So tell me in these 2 years, because sometimes I listen to the podcast when I'm free or something like that. I get it on Spotify and listen to it.
Thank you.
But in these 2 years, you have a lot of episodes. What is the key takeaway? Because you have talked to so many artists.
We've talked to a lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
What's a
each of you, what is the key takeaway from all the artists that you talked to so far? What is the biggest lesson?
Geez. I think for me personally, I've gathered that it is all about your drive. If you are just willing to keep working and just always like no matter what, even if like you make a piece of content or like you make a song that is bad, quote unquote bad, as long as you're putting something out and it's like you're working really hard to achieve a goal, then you're most likely going to succeed in some way. Um, so it really just pushes me at least to continue to keep working really hard at things. So that's why we've been doing the pod for so long, is because I enjoy it, and two, it's like I want to eventually, have this be my job. So it's like I want to keep pushing for that. But that's for me.
No, mine's kind of the same thing. Like the thing I've noticed the most for people ends up being not are they doing it, but are they doing it, I guess, long term? Like
Mm,
because you can do really well. You can do really, really well short term. But like I guess like
the
are you gonna
longevity.
are you gonna have a longevity if you like I guess stop?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's a great question. Yeah, I mean, it really
Yeah.
just comes. The key takeaway is just keep doing stuff, keep putting out stuff. Even like we'll have times when we sit down to record an episode and we have nothing to talk about, but then we'll just like find one topic or one real small thing, and we just can make an hour out of it. We just go, and we've gotten to a point where we're just good at coming up with stuff. And as long as we get an episode out, that's all that matters. That's like rule number one is once a week we get an episode out.
Mm.
So it's a good mindset to have.
Yeah, I mean, you will see this in the book, but you basically replied pretty well. I think as an artist, as a musician, at least
Mhm.
the music part in me, that is honestly what I want to do.
Mhm.
I was lacking the resources. Well, that's a really bad statement. I had all the resources to do music, but I was lacking the confidence in myself to do it.
Mhm.
And
Right.
That's not easy to get. They can't just pull that out of thin air sometimes, you
Yeah.
know?
like sometimes, it's so stupid because one bad comment can bring you down. And I
Mhm.
have like thousands of comments on my Instagram. Like, I don't even know how many followers I made on TikTok last year,
Yeah.
but it's still one bad comment can bring you down.
Right.
And with this tour, for example, I learned that in every city, I gain a bit of confidence.
Right.
I go to the stage and I sometimes I'm like, I don't really feel like doing this, because maybe you
Mhm.
don't feel the vibe, maybe the trip on the way to the city was too long, or already
Right.
some,
Right. Yeah.
you know. But it's still, you go on the stage and then you totally forget about everything happening. You do your show, and then you
Mhm.
see people laughing or enjoying. I also sing a little bit in the show, because you have to put the music.
Right.
So,
Yeah, no.
um, so yeah, I just learned that the confidence it takes forever to build your
Mhm.
confidence. Like I imagine Beyonce took like years of winning
Mhm.
until you get this confidence that you're like, hey, I'm going to put my song out, and I don't care if people like it or not, because it's so vulnerable when you put a song out.
Right.
That yeah, I feel like I was lacking that power, that confidence in myself to be like, hey, I
Mhm.
like my song. If you don't like it, it's cool. If it gets 100 streams, it's cool. If it gets 1 million,
Right.
cool as well.
Yeah.
Uh, and yeah, now I feel like I finally get that in me.
Mhm.
So I'm ready to put a whole album out and to, like go on a stage, dance, sing, kill it. Yeah.
Mhm. That's awesome. That's really cool. I think you will do that, and it's going to be awesome because you have always kind of just exuded confidence, even if you took a long time to get there. Like we have seen, at least through your content and your videos, that
Yeah.
you are confident and you are passionate, and that's really all that matters. But yeah, so that's we're actually running out of time here, so that's all we can really get to right now. But we'd love to have you on again. We'd love to talk about the book when it comes out. Like, definitely let us know when it comes out. We'll do a whole episode. We'll talk about the book. And we really appreciate you doing this, Fer. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Absolutely, my
Thank you.
pleasure. Thank you guys for continuing and never giving up.
Thank you.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
man. Appreciate it. All
Thank you
righty.
for the
Well,
same.
hey, we'll keep in touch and we will talk to you soon.
Yep. Have a nice day.
All right. You too.
too.
See ya.